Hello, good morning, and welcome. You all are free to come off of mute at any time if you'd like, or share your camera. That would be great as well. So good morning and welcome to CCAS's Career Services LinkedIn session. My name is Dr. Johnette Ruffner Caesar, and I am a career counselor in that particular office. Before I go any further, can you all just give me a thumbs up or come off of mute and make sure that you can, I want to make sure you can hear me. Okay, great. Thank you. So I just want to again welcome you all. This is, I think, the ninth session in our fall career readiness series. We have gone over how to prepare in year one or year two or of your master's program or whatever year you're on in your PhD program and how to prepare for career opportunities. We've also focused on resumes specifically. Those sessions were called Revolutionary Resume. And on October 5th, we had a session called Resume Madness, where students could sign up for 15-minute sessions to have any of their cover letter or resume or CV questions answered during that particular time. And so now we're going into our LinkedIn series, where today, as you know, we'll be focused on profile construction. And on the 25th, please note this, on the 25th at 10 a.m., we'll be focused on professional branding. So if you want the part two to this conversation, please make sure you register and put it on your calendar, because many students will register, but they forget to put it on their calendar and so end up missing the session. So I see several of you are still joining us. There 42 people have registered for this session, so hopefully all 42 join. So again, I'm Johnette Ruffner Caesar. I am a career counselor here with the CCAS Graduate Student Services / Career Services. Not only am I a career counselor, I'm also an entrepreneur. I own a professional services agency where I teach mainly or support mainly professional women, mid to senior level professional women, and how to support them with what I call obtaining professional peace. And I think professional peace comes when you know who you are as a professional. You're not afraid to pursue whatever it is that you want. You're well positioned and know how to position yourself for opportunities. And a part of the reason why I decided to work with GW in this role is because of my own career progression, where I obtained 3 degrees. I have 2 masters, not 2 masters, I have 3 degrees, an undergraduate, 2 undergraduate degree, sorry, an undergraduate degree in communications from George Mason, a master's in telecommunications from George Mason, and a doctorate in education policy and leadership. After I obtained my 3rd degree and went into the workforce, unfortunately, I experienced not one, but 2 layoffs. Now, you know, we're told that education is everything, that education will prevent us from experiencing those types of things. And I just want to communicate that education is necessary, absolutely, but it's a tool. It is not a guarantee. A resume is a tool, but it's not a guarantee. And so by you being here today, really will support you in understanding how to use tools in order to align yourself and position yourself for the opportunities that you would like to pursue. Okay. So throughout this conversation, I am going to ask you to jot down any questions that you may have, and I'll leave room at the end for you to ask those questions. And if there's anything that resonates with you, feel free to use the reaction button to let me know that you're with me and understand what I'm saying, and that we're on the same page. Okay, very good. All right, so the first thing that I want you to know, if you didn't know, and hopefully you all already have a LinkedIn profile, um, and you're just wanting to get tips on how to optimize that platform. And if you're not already on it, that's okay. I'm just glad that you're here, and interested in learning more about how to construct one, and to utilize it in the most effective way possible. But LinkedIn is the world's largest uh, professional social professional social networking website. As such, more than 61 million companies use the platform on a daily basis, giving LinkedIn members a wealth of options for finding job opportunities. And so, why should you be on? Well, why is because 61 million companies are using the platform. LinkedIn can also be used to expand your network. Excuse me one second. Can be used to expand your network, to help you to find internships, to help you to strengthen your professional relationships. And everyone from students to job seekers to small business, large corporations should use and can use LinkedIn as a benefit to help you to move along your professional trajectory. And so today I want to help you to get started with that process. And I think the best way for me to do that is to use my own LinkedIn profile. And not to say that it's completely perfect, but it's pretty comprehensive. And so I want to use my own profile to give you some ideas or insight into how to use the platform. So today we're going to talk about the top portion of your profile, where we'll talk about your picture, the banner behind your picture. Want to talk about the introduction, your headline, your background and your experiences, and how to fill in all of the sections in your profile to get you started. So you may not use everything that I'll talk about today, but the goal here is to get you started. Okay, so if you're with me, just give me a thumbs up and we will move forward. Let's see, I'm going to share my screen. Great, great, great. Glad everybody is on board. Okay. All right. Now, can you all see my profile? Just give me another thumbs up to make sure we are on the same page. Great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you all's feedback. Okay. So this is my profile. And I want to start off with the banner portion. Some people leave that blank, and I just want to encourage you to create a banner. And how do you create a banner? You can use Canva, canva.com. And if you literally type in LinkedIn banner, it will give you templates for options that you can choose. And if you've used Canva, it's extremely intuitive. You don't have to be a graphic artist or designer to create one. And like I said, Canva has some pre-made ones, but you can insert the information that you want to insert. As it relates to what you can put on that banner, since it's for yourself, create something that represents you, but is professional at the same time. All right. And I want to show you, I hope she comes up. Maybe not. I'll have to find it to give you an example of one of my clients. But anyway, one of the things in terms of language that you can put on that banner, you can talk about like your skills. If there are like 3 skills that you're brilliant at, put those skills like project management, community building, and budgetary planning, right? Something to that effect. you can use that language on your banner so that even before people read your profile, they're able to get information about who you are just from your banner. So in this case, it tells my audience what I do, or this is what type of community I've created. It's where women obtain peace in their professional lives. And you have my my website as well. And you have a graphic of women. Also for the profession, for the picture, you don't have to get professional pictures done for LinkedIn. Just take a nice picture. Again, one that demonstrates that you are approachable, one that demonstrates that you are a professional. Okay. So, yes, dress up a little bit, smile. It doesn't have to be all teeth, but something to show that you are approachable, where people want to engage with you. Because remember, this isn't just a site to find a job. It is a site to network with other professionals. Okay. Um, Before I go any further, if you see these pencils here, these pencils are where you have an opportunity to edit. So if you want to add a banner, you would click the pencil and it will walk you through the process. Really, it's an upload. It says, do you want to upload from your computer or from some other form? And you upload the actual graphic that you want, and LinkedIn will insert it. But it will also give you an opportunity to adjust it the way that you want, so that it shows up the way that you intended. Okay. It may take some working to make sure you get the right fit that you want. But it really is extremely intuitive, in terms of the mechanics of creating a banner, uploading the banner, as well as your profile picture. Let's see if right. So clicking my profile picture, you see that I can add a photo, I can edit it, I can create frames, or I can delete the entire picture altogether and add something different. Now you see, for instance, this LE on my jacket. I put my picture in Canva and added my logo onto my jacket. Okay, so LinkedIn doesn't give you those special effects, but you can use Canva to create those kinds of options if you want to be a bit more creative. Otherwise, a simple, nice, professional picture that you saved on your computer can be uploaded to be used as your profile picture. Okay. So let's move down to the headline. The headline is your name and everything under your name, right? So of course, state your name. I like to really write in first person. On a resume, you're not able to do that. Writing in first person is not a good thing to do. But on LinkedIn, because you are networking with people, you are wanting to engage hiring managers, you want a personable profile. You don't want to sound like a robot. And so it's perfectly okay on LinkedIn to write in first person. And so you could use a simple statement. I teach mid to senior level career women how to obtain professional peace. Keep it simple, right? So you could talk just a little bit about what you do, what your research interests are. Or you could simply put, as you see here, I have career strategist, professional resume writer, adjunct professor, author, that kind of information. So you could identify, I am a financial analyst or an aspiring financial analyst. You could put that, but be in the mind that I want you to get in the mind of moving away from, even though you're a student, moving away from student language and really beginning to present yourself as a professional. Not that you aren't a professional as a student, but I find that students have a tendency to stay in that student lane. But on LinkedIn, start branching out and presenting yourself as a professional who is ready to work, either by internship or by actual job. Okay. All right. So let's move down further to the, let's see. I'm sorry, I'm looking for my, okay, about section. So the next section is about, where you have an opportunity to talk about yourself. There's a lot of information that you can include. There's a lot of information that you can include in this section, in the about section. There's a school of thought that says, well, fill it up, add all the information that you'd like. I am on more of the conservative end, understanding that sometimes folks don't want to read that much. And so I say, create a section or talk about yourself in a way that demonstrates who you are as a person, who you are as a professional. Use energetic, engaging language, and communicate what it is you're seeking, or how you're looking to engage. So for me, I'm using language. I turn discontent women executives into fulfilled transformational superheroes. How? Through inspirational strategic career advising, mesmerizing resume strategy sessions, serene professional development workshops. So you see how I'm using adjectives to pull in and to engage my readers. And you see that I'm using that information on the first line. So before they even say click more to want to read more, my first two sentences are designed to get people interested in what I'm saying. And so you want to do the same about yourself, something that is going to engage and entice your audience to want to read more about who you are. Okay. And again, I'm taking certain liberties because, in addition to GW, my primary purpose of using LinkedIn is for my business. But I'm still using, you still can use colorful language to talk about who you are. Hiring managers and anyone else who wants to connect with you wants to feel like they're engaging with a real person and not kind of this kind of robotic, stale kind of language. Okay, so be expressive is what I'm saying, and be intentional about the kind of information that you want to share, because the goal here is to attract professional opportunities and establish professional relationships. Okay. So now we're moving down to experience. And so it is important to not only include your experience, but begin to talk about, add information about what you've done in each of your roles. Now, some people will approach this section where they will copy and paste what's in their resume. So just bullet points. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But I do like a more of a narrative around the work that you've done in each of your experiences. And so what I mean by that is, let me give you one example. So when I worked at College Summit as a managing director, I could have listed bullets, but instead I write in first person where I talk about I directed the overall programmatic goals of College Summit. College Summit's core youth development program, which included leading a team of campaign directors and coaches, etc. So it's a narrative. I haven't listed the bullets like a resume, but I combined those bullet points, or I'm sharing the most significant work that I did in that role. So really giving a more rounded, high level narrative about what you did in each of those roles. Again, I recommend doing that because it's more personable, you're more approachable. You're creating a profile that is more exciting to read than just listing duties. And let me say this about listing duties. This is for LinkedIn, but also for your resume. Don't just list duties. The formula that I like to use is what did you do? How did you do it? And what were the results of what you did in that role, or what were the intended results? And by using that formula, you're really opening, you're drilling down into what you did. And it gives a more well-rounded professional story, and gives anyone who's reading your resume or LinkedIn profile more insight into who you are and what you've done, therefore making the case for why you are the best person for the role. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If so, give me a thumbs up. Let me see some thumbs, or maybe a scratch of the head or question marks, but I just want to make sure everyone is with me. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Okay, so you see that I have a lot of work experience. You know, I'm old, you all, so so I have a lot of work experience. But this also allows you to share, much like a CV, um, all of your experiences. So you can put as many experiences on uh, uh, your LinkedIn profile as you would like. And I see a question in the chat, and I will come back and answer that question when we get to the Q&A portion of this. Okay. All right. So give me 1 second here. Let me get out of the experience section. Okay. So now we're at the education portion, and this is pretty self-explanatory. List all, all of your education, right? And you can add the year, or let's see, or not. You don't necessarily have to do that. One of the things that I am mindful of is, and this is true on resumes as well. Bias is, I mean, it's inescapable. And, there's ageism, there are all sorts of isms. And so the assumption is, if you have listed, for instance, on your resume, that you went to a particular university and you don't have the dates, it suggests that you in fact did graduate. If you did not graduate, you can add the years that you attended that university. If you are on your way to graduation, you can share expected graduation month and year. So that's just a note for you for LinkedIn, as well as your resume. You can also include licenses and certifications that you have obtained. It may not be a formal degree, but you have gone through certification programs. These can be anything. And just a note here, as a LinkedIn member, sometimes some of the trainings are free, but on some of them, you have to be a professional, a paying member. To keep in mind that LinkedIn has wonderful training opportunities, everything from Excel to, I don't know, project management, wonderful sessions. And at the end of those sessions, they will give you an electronic certification as an indicator that you have completed those trainings. And you can then place, they have an option where those trainings can show up, those certifications. It's like an electronic certificate you can share on LinkedIn, and that can be demonstrated in your profile as well. So they're all wonderful. LinkedIn is just a really great tool, not only for networking, but also for training and to demonstrate your training as well. You can add volunteer experience. I highly recommend it, not only on your LinkedIn profile, but sometimes on your resume. Volunteering is also an opportunity. It's also considered as work, right? Because you're getting experience. And if you ever find yourself in a position where you are in between jobs, um, or just want to get experience, if you have the time, volunteer, but be intentional about the role in which you are working as a volunteer, because you want to use it as work experience. You want to be very intentional, and not, I mean, if you want to do things out of the kindness of your heart, of course, give back to the community. But I'm just saying that you can use volunteer roles as professional experience that can be used on your LinkedIn profile as well as your resume. Okay. And then in the next section, we have skills. You have many skills, right? And you can see here that I have 50 skills that I've highlighted: strategic communications, individual counseling, and many more. And so when you list skills, people in your network that you're connected to can see those skills, and they can endorse you, especially if they've had connections with you. So you can see for strategic communications, folks have endorsed me for that. Individuals have endorsed me for individual counseling. And LinkedIn will send messages to your network to say, hey, endorse Kiera for, whatever skill that she has. And folks will kindly do that. And as a thank you, you can do the same for them. And so it's a support system. It truly is a network. And this is how, one of the ways that you can optimize your network, because if you have people who are endorsing your skills, hiring managers can look at that and can get a better sense of who you are and can get a better sense of what your professional brand is. So it's just like if you're buying something online and you're not really sure about it. I don't know about you, but one of the first things I do is look at the reviews and how many reviews to indicate if this is a purchase that I want to make. The same is true related to you as a professional. The more people that can sign off on you as a professional, the higher the more effective your professional brand becomes, and the more marketable you become. So utilize that section where you add those skills, and invite people. And LinkedIn, like I said, will help you to reach out to your network and encourage those individuals to endorse you, and make sure you do the same in return. Okay. And this next section is underutilized, I think, across the board, not only with students, but more seasoned professionals. Using the recommendations section, again, just like endorsements, recommendations is like the next level up. Where you're purchasing something online, it's one thing to see how many people have purchased the item. It's one thing to see how many people have clicked that they had a great experience with the item. But it's next level when folks take the time to actually write something about you, right? A good recommendation to give whoever's looking at your profile further insight about who you are and how you are as a professional. And so you see here that I have 26 recommendations that people who can talk about the work that I've done with them. On LinkedIn, the way this works is that The people who give you recommendations have to be in your network, okay? They have to be connected to you as a first level. In LinkedIn, they have levels, first, second, third. I don't know if it goes, I'm sure it does go beyond three. Level connections. They have to be a first level connection, meaning you are directly connected to them. A second level connection would be, I am connected to Dawood Wallace, but Kiera is a connection of Dawood's, but she's not a connection of mine. So she would be a second level. So they have to be a first level connection. And you can go in and request a, let me see, can I show you? And it doesn't want to come up for me. Let's see here. Right. So if you click the plus sign, you can ask for a recommendation. Okay. And then you can search for who you want to ask. So let's just say I want to ask Stephanie Usher, and you see all of these folks are first level connections. And then you click continue. And then it's going to ask you, what is the relationship? And you see all of these options. Stephanie managed you directly. Stephanie reported directly to you, and you would find the best option, okay, for Stephanie. What position did you have at that time? And it has all of the positions that I have uploaded in LinkedIn. And then you write Stephanie a message, a very nice message, asking if she would be willing to write you a recommendation based on her experience with you, okay? And then you hit send. And whatever email Stephanie has on connected to LinkedIn, LinkedIn will send her a message saying, Johnette is requesting or asking for a recommendation. Once Stephanie writes that recommendation, LinkedIn will notify you. And it will ask if you're happy with it, or would you like Stephanie to make some adjustments to the recommendation, which is perfectly okay. But it's all about presentation and how you ask individuals to support you or make an adjustment. If an adjustment is made, sometimes it's you asking them to speak more specifically about a particular skill. And I tend to do that on the initial ask. If it's something that you want people to zero in on, put that in your initial ask so they know how to position and how to write, or gives them more direction on how to write a recommendation that's going to be most beneficial for you. Okay, so utilize recommendations. They are very, very helpful and powerful. Who would you ask? You would ask individuals that you've reported to directly. You could ask professors. You can ask people that you've worked with in volunteer spaces, professional clubs, professional organizations that you are a part of. Ask them if they would be willing to do it, and also be prepared to do the same in return. Okay. You can add publications. If you have research that's been published, you can add that here. If you've taken courses, you can add those courses. If you are part of organizations, add those organizations. You can also add interests, any interest or people that you want to connect with. You can add all of those things to create a profile. So, in getting started, do you have to add everything that I have shared? You do not. But I do encourage you to make sure you have a banner, you have a profile picture, you have a headline with your name and either a statement and or areas of expertise, right? As your headline, and you add your experience Oh, the about section, don't forget that. That is important. Then add your experience, add your education. Those are the most important things to add in your LinkedIn profile. These other things are additional things and things that you can work on over time. The other thing that I would suggest before I open the floor for questions is to build your network. As you can see here, I have over 500 connections and I have over 1,600 followers, okay? So you may ask, how do I build my connections? It can be as easy as, well, let me say it this way, be intentional. So this is an opportunity to connect with people in your field. And in doing so, you are researching your field as well. So let's just say you're considering going into, like Ethan is interested in going into finance, but not really sure what aspect of it just yet. I suggest, for instance, searching finance, like let's say finance manager. I don't want to look for jobs, but finance manager. Well, it's giving me jobs. I want to find people. So we see here, Madeline comes up, Rita comes up. Maybe these are folks that I want to connect with, right? I can take a look at their profile and say, I really like what Madeline does. I want to learn more about her. I'm interested in working at MITRE. And so you could simply send Madeline a hit connect, a connect request, and you can leave it as it is, where you just send it's a standard message. You know, Ian would like to connect with you, Madeline, and Madeline can, you know, accept or not, or you can add a note, a personal note. I happen to like adding a personal note. Madeline, you know, I am Ian. I'm looking to go into finance when I graduate in May. I see you have an interesting background and I would like to learn more from you. So I'd like to connect. Those kinds of personalized messages are more inviting and they are more personable, and therefore people are more willing and interested to connect with you than using just your standard LinkedIn generated message. So that's how you begin to build your network. Now, have I always sent a personal message? No, I haven't. Or maybe I'll create a standard personal message that I use for everyone and just copy and paste so that it doesn't take so much time. And over time, you will begin to build, you will build your network. 500 is sort of the magic number because it opens you up, right? It gets you exposed to lots of different people. Again, I mean, these are folks all over the world that you can connect to and with, all right? The other option too is that, you know, folks can follow you. They may not want to connect to you in a network, but they can follow you and why would they follow you? Just like any other social media site, they're interested in your content. And I don't want to go too far into this because this goes into what I want to talk with you all about on the 25th about branding, creating a brand. LinkedIn is your own free, and let me stress free, stage to create a professional presence that you desire. You can use this platform literally to become a thought leader, to position yourself for opportunities. You don't have to just use a resume. You can, Ian, right now, as a a financial expert, can start to post information about finance. He can use video about finance that can help him to establish a persona, a professional image that will make him marketable to a hiring manager. And it's free, right? And so that's kind of what I want you to understand as we go into the branding conversation, that LinkedIn is a powerful tool. I have used it. I've met strangers. And because of the similar work, we've done workshops together. And I didn't know the person just yesterday. We had a great conversation. We've created workshops. We've created just different opportunities for people to engage, all sorts of things where I've needed help and didn't know how to move, but understood that there are people out here who could help me. Now, is everyone willing to help? No, not necessarily. But I think more people than not are willing to help to support you. Now, let me say this, and then I'll open the floor for questions. If you are looking for a job on LinkedIn, people are more apt to support you if you say, I'm working to enter this field. I find your background interesting and I would like to learn more about you. They are more apt to have a conversation with you rather than if you say, I'm looking to get a job at your organization. Well, they probably don't have the time. They are not hiring managers and they don't want to be a part of that conversation necessarily. So opening it up with, I'm interested in you, and then you start to build a relationship with individuals. Now, with that door open, you can start to share more about your interest in what you're looking to do. And then more times than not, folks are willing to support you and give you suggestions for how to move forward. Okay. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I will stop share. I hope this has been helpful conversation and given you some insight about LinkedIn that maybe you didn't have before. So the first question I have from Beatrice is, do you think bullet points would work to describe your experience? You can use bullet points if you'd like. You can certainly do that. I just happen to personally like the narrative format better because it's more engaging. I think it's more engaging. Again, the goal is to attract hiring managers to you and a network to you. And doing that by being more personable is just my personal preference and recommendation. Okay. Great. You're very welcome. Are there any other questions? You're welcome to come off of mute or put it in the chat. Could the recommendations come from peers? Yes, they certainly can. That is fine. But I think the most powerful recommendations are from folks who have that you report to, right? That can speak of your work ethic and experience. So, you know, colleague to colleague, student to student, peer to peer, that's fine. But understand that someone you reported to directly is a powerful recommendation that you can obtain, because hiring managers want to know from a managerial perspective, how is this person? Okay, Odia says this may be more of a branding question, but should our banners relate more to our experience or be a more of a personal statement? I recommend a bit of both. It can be, remember, this is a professional networking site. It's not Instagram or Facebook. So it is designed to help you to present yourself as a professional. So for instance, just like my necklace, right? I am dressed professionally, but I'm dressed professionally showing a bit of my personality at the same time. And so the same is true for a banner. Using colors, using images, using whatever that conveys you as a personally, but presenting it also as a professional, if that makes sense. Our experience to be more of a person. Got it. So is that helpful, Odia? Okay, very good. Or Adia, I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly.
No, you're saying it perfectly. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay. Yushun says, do we typically accept all connections? Most of them I receive seem like HR. Is there scamming on LinkedIn? Have you declined or an invitation before? So, you do not have to accept connections. I take a look at all pending connections and ask myself, why are they connecting and how is it beneficial for me in terms of a professional network? There are some people who are just trying to sell you something. In that case, and I am not in the market for that item, I'm not accepting them as a connection. And so reading what they're doing, and sometimes you can automatically see they're trying to sell you something. In those cases, I'm not connecting. If someone sends me a connection invite and they don't have a profile picture, I'm not accepting because it looks suspicious. It just looks suspicious. I'm also looking to see, is this connection connected to any of my other connections? If they are, I'm more likely to accept that connection as opposed to they're not connected to anyone I know. So yeah, I do take some precaution, those types of precaution, to determine who I will accept and not accept. When I started off, I wasn't as intentional, but now I certainly am, because it's social media. So yes, you can get scammed and all sorts of things. So I do take more precaution now than I did initially. I hope that's helpful. Okay, any other questions, comments? Well, let me ask for a comment. Has this been helpful? You can put that in the chat, thumbs up. Did you learn something that you did not know before? Great, thank you, Kiara. Anyone else? Okay, very good, Sandipa. Appreciate that feedback. Thank you, Yashun. Okay, very good. And I hope that that is true for the rest of you as well. So again, my only hesitation is to look too eager and like I dislike my job. Kiara, look, I understand. I do. And I encourage you not to think about it that way. And I get it, right? So Kiara talks about backlash. So folks can be hesitant about using LinkedIn, especially if they already have a job. All right. So there are various ways to approach this. If you already have a job, there's a banner, a filter on LinkedIn where it says under your profile picture, ready to work. I wouldn't do something like that, right? That does look eager. And even if I don't have a job and I'm looking ready to work, that's a bit much for me. That maybe it's ego, I don't know. It's a bit much. But there is a, and I have to think how to do it. There's a setting that you can, and maybe I need to go back to, there's a setting that can notify hiring managers that you are open to work, but it doesn't like show up as a broadcast announcement on your profile. So that's one thing you can do. Two, approaching it that everyone understands that if you're on LinkedIn, you're looking for opportunities, right? Meaning connecting with other professionals, finding other professional opportunities. Does that mean today? Maybe not, but you are positioning yourself, setting yourself up to attract opportunities. And so it doesn't have to be a flashing sign that says, I want a new job, I want a new job. No, but you use language and you present information that will attract opportunities to you so that you don't look too eager or thirsty or whatever the case may be. Some folks are concerned about backlash in terms of if you have a job and you have people on your team who are in your network, right? Who can kind of see your activity. Well, that's everyone's individual preference. I probably wouldn't have people who work with me in my network just because it's just too close. Just like as an adjunct professor, if you're in my class and you send me a network request, I don't accept those requests until you're no longer in my class. That's just my own personal preference. So, it's totally up to you and how you handle it. And yes, it can be a bit sensitive in how you navigate using LinkedIn. But I think the mindset should be I'm using it to attract opportunity, not necessarily a role, but maybe a role. But I'm putting information in my profile to attract what it is I want to attract in this season. So Sandipa says, just wanted to know, how did you add talks in profile? So Sandipa, can you come off of mute and let me know, give me more, help me to understand?
There's a section under your profile, like where you say you talk about resume and all those things right under your section in italics. I didn't know like how we can add that.
Okay, so you're talking about right here?
Yeah, talks about coaching, credibility, resume writing,
Right.
personal development. So that section, how to add that. Yeah.
Sure. So this pencil right here
Yeah.
will allow you to edit that section. So here's my name. And then as I scroll down, here's my headline. You see where I put that language? And here is the current position that I want to show on the top part of my headline.
Yeah.
And then you're also adding, you can add, the education here, where you're located, if you'd like to include that, your contact information. So all of that at the very top is with that one pencil button.
Yeah.
To make those adjustments.
Okay. That section, I couldn't figure it out where I could write that. So is it with all the I teach mid-senior?
Yes, I'm
it's
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I went too fast. Let me go back and show you. It's right here. It says headline.
Oh, it's along with the headline. So,
exactly. You see all of this information that I've included.
Oh, okay. It's in the same thing. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. So Ian's question, would you recommend more than one profile specific to different fields or just one with all of your info, assuming that some of that info might seem strange to some of your network? I do recommend one profile. Otherwise, it just gets a little confusing and it can become too much to manage, right? So again, this goes a little bit into the branding conversation, but like any social media network, posting is important. And I won't go into what you post, but posting is important. So the question is, are you going to, nurture one profile and not the other? Something to ask yourself. But I just recommend doing one, nurturing it, understanding that you may have some information that may not be as relevant to some people as others, but understanding, I mean, the sentiment and the understanding is that we are professionals, and as professionals, we have different interests. So even though I might be in finance, I also may have a fashion design piece that I'm doing over here as well. So side things that you're doing can be included in your profile. And I see people do it all of the time, especially entrepreneurs, right? So it's okay. Now, you know, do I have as an entrepreneur more, in some ways, a little more flexibility? Yes, a little bit more. But if you're looking for a job, it is helpful to kind of be more focused, but in adding those other aspects of who you are, it still creates an engaging, interesting profile so that hiring managers or people who want to connect with you can see all of the aspects of who you are professionally. And that's perfectly okay to do. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. Okay, very good. In the last 4 minutes that we have, are there any additional questions, comments, concerns? Okay, as you're thinking about it, please remember the next session is on October 25th. That is also a Wednesday at 10 a.m. If you haven't registered and you want to come back, please do so. If you know other people, other students who need to be a part of this conversation, let them know as well. I also want to make you aware that our next sessions after LinkedIn are interviewing with ease, on November 1st at 12 and the same session on November 9th at 5 p.m. So make sure that you are a part of that as well. Also in November, on November 15th, turning your CV into a resume. There is a difference, okay? And so if you need support with making those adjustments, please come and join us. And then our last workshop for the fall term is called Working Your Network, helping you to prepare for spring employment opportunities by learning how to network effectively. And I know networking can be difficult, especially if you're more of an introvert. But I want to say, as a fellow introvert, start thinking about networking differently. This is your opportunity to create your own reality. You are your brand. You are your business. Even if you're not in business, I want to encourage you to think entrepreneurially about promoting yourself, having conversations about your expertise so that people know who you are and you are moving towards your professional goals, and you're not waiting for job announcements. You're not waiting for people to invite you to an interview. You are literally creating your own opportunities by promoting yourself. Okay? It may feel uncomfortable, but it's necessary. It's very, very important. So just want to stress that. So I encourage you to come back, and remember, for those of you who have not done so, we also offer one-to-one career advising. I've met with a few of you all before. If you need a more detailed, specific conversation, schedule a one-to-one with me. Those sessions are typically 45 minutes. And what you would do is go on to Handshake and find my blocks of time and schedule a time with me to work one-to-one. Okay, very good. So you all, thank you for your time. I hope, again, you've enjoyed this. Based on your feedback, it looks like this has been a helpful session. You know where to find me if you need support. And thank you again. And I look forward to seeing you on October 25th. And enjoy the rest of your day.